Good afternoon, Year 5. Welcome to computing. So in school, what we've been doing is we've been animating some computer games. Now, obviously, these are unfortunately on the laptops at school. So I thought for the last 2 weeks, let's have a little go at applying everything that we've learned and make a Christmassy game. So what I'm going to do is I will show you sort of do a 10-minute thing about how you can make one, but I'm going to be using the tutorials that are on Scratch. So I would highly recommend you guys do the same thing as well. They're really effective and they stay up whilst you're trying to do it. So they are really helpful for you. But let's first of all have a look at how we get to Scratch. So once you're on Google, at the top, if you type in Scratch and you want the one that's .mit.edu, then that takes you to the home page. Now, it does say up here, join Scratch sign in. It is free to join if your parents are okay with you joining, but you don't need to join up to do it. So if I click on create, then it takes me to our blank canvas that we are going to use. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is get rid of that tutorial because I'm pretty comfortable with that sort of thing. Go up to tutorials and I'm going to have a go at a make it fly game. I'm going to change the characters and I'm going to change the things that they're trying to catch. So it's not this cat trying to chase tacos. But I'm going to use everything that's on here to help me. And if I click play here, it will very loudly show me some examples of what is happening. So first of all, I will go through and I will choose the sky background. So it's over here and that's in straight away. Nice and quick. Secondly, I don't really want the cat as my sprite. Now, because I'm making this a Christmassy game, I'm going to go with Father Christmas. Now, there was not any Father Christmas sprite on there, so I will have to use one that I found on Google earlier. Now, at the moment, Santa is facing the wrong way. So if I click on costumes over here, and if I shrink this down, then I can flip Santa around, and I can also have a bit of a go at getting rid of some of that background. Now, sometimes when you get things from the internet, you can see that when you get rid of some of the background, some white bits remain and it's a little bit messy. Now, I've got two options here. I can either zoom in and I can painstakingly get rid of all of the little bits, which I normally would do. But because I'm on a bit of a time limit, I'm going to leave it on there and I'm going to pretend that it's snow maybe and try and make it a bit. Now, Santa's a bit big there, still he's taking up most of the space on there. So let me change his size to about 75. Remember, 100 is the size that he starts at, and then anything smaller than that makes him smaller. So I will get my tutorial back up. I've chosen my character. So the next thing, he's got to say something. Now, instead of saying time to fly, I'm going to make Santa say something a bit festive. So we'll go with ho 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 for 2 seconds. And then if I click on the green flag, there we go. It looks like the reindeer's talking, which is a little bit irritating, but that's okay. Now I need to be able to make it so that we can control Santa. Now, we've done this before with all of your types of games. So what I need to make sure I've got in is I need 4 of these ones because I'm going to change them to be the arrow keys instead of the space key. So I want the right arrow, the left arrow, the up arrow, and the down arrow. Now, on our example in the tutorial, I can see that when I press right, I want X to change by 10. Now, that's because X is when you're going horizontally. So if X is going 10, it means it's getting bigger. So it means it's coming towards us. If X is getting smaller by -10, it means that it's going to the left-hand side. So I will change that to -10. And then up and down, although it doesn't say it on our tutorial, they are, that's the y-axis going up and down. So I want it to change by 10 when it's going up and by -10 when it's going down. And if I move my tutorial out of the way and press go, you should say ho, 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 and he should move around when I press the keys. Lovely. So that's the start of our game, really. That's going to be our main playable character. Now, we need to work out how we're going to score some points. So in the tutorial, the cat is collecting hearts. I know in the example he was collecting tacos, but what we want to do is we want something festive, really. So we will have Santa collecting gifts. I will make the gifts a little bit smaller. There we go. And if I keep going through the tutorial, I can see how to make the object move. Now here I need to be very careful because I need to make sure that I'm still clicked on gift, because that is what we are coding at the moment. So if I go to when the green flag is clicked, I want it to forever go to a random position. That just means it starts and change X by 250. That means that whenever it comes back, it's always going to start off on the same point on the x-axis. So it's going to start off here, but it will change where it is on the y-axis. I want that to repeat 32 times, with each time it changing by -15. Now they've worked out all of these measurements for you already, so that's why some of these are here. But now when I press go, the present, in theory, should make it look as though Santa is moving, because it should go flying past Santa's sleigh. So there we can see it keeps on whizzing past, and that's how we can turn this into our game. I will stop that because while I'm working, that can drive me mad. And let's have a look at the next one. So go back over to my character. Now I want to make it so that I can score some points. So if I go to my variables, I'll make a variable. I will call it score, and I will press OK. And then I can add some more coding to my main playable character. So when the green flag is clicked, we'll always start our score at 0 so that we're not adding to previous games. And I want the score to always be going up if Santa touches the present. So I will go to motion sensing. So it says here touching the mouse pointer, but it's got a little drop down arrow, so I can change that. Don't think that you haven't got that option. So if that sprite touches the present, then I want the score to change by 1. Now they've been quite clever here, and they've put wait 1 second after it happens, because otherwise, as every second, every moment that the present is touching Santa, we will end up getting loads and loads of points. So if I have a look now, there's a bit of pressure on me here to manage to play the game well. I can see that whenever Santa, where are they? Whenever Santa touches the present, we get a point. Well, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. After that, what I need to do is I need to have a go at adding some scenery so that it looks as though Santa is moving. Now, there's a couple of options that you can use, but the scenery is all in Sprites, not in background. I used clouds in the example. I'm going to have a go with buildings. So I'll have the building as coming out of the floor. I might make the buildings a little bit bigger. Okay. Now I'm just going to click on the other sprites to bring them in front of the building there. Okay, so if I come across, to make the scenery move, I need to be clicked on the buildings. And then when the green flag is pressed, I want it to do basically what the present is doing. So I want it to move so that it appears that we are whizzing past it the whole time. So I want to set X to 250. I want this to repeat 100 times, and I want it to change by -5. So it's a bit slower than the gift. Now let me move this out of the way, and let's see, in theory, our building should move. So there we go. Now it looks as though Santa is flying through the city. Now, if we got bored of seeing the same building the whole time, what we can do is we can chuck in a next costume. Now, the good thing about Scratch Online is that lots of the things already come with costumes pre-built. So there you can see it's changing the look of the building each time. Now, if you were pretty confident with this, then some of the other things that you might want to do include, you might want to make it so that you've got lumps of coal, and maybe Santa loses a point when he's hit by coal. You might want to make it so that Santa says something whenever he catches a present. You could add whatever different bits that you wanted to in there. When you're done, if you go to File, you can save to your computer. And that's a really good way of keeping it. And then you can send that over to me, and I can have a look and hopefully spend a lovely afternoon playing all of your computer games. So good luck, guys. Let me know how you get on. Send me your video games that you make. And if you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to ask.